Hey, Com 252 class, this is Joe Lewis, and I am here to talk to you about Chapter 4, Your Emotions. Can you control your emotions, or do you just go all crazy? It's a good question. Why is it important to communication? Why are your emotions important to your day-to-day communication? And remember, communication is all about what? Getting what you want. And why is being a more effective communicator and controlling your emotions, how does that help? What does it make it bid? So we have emotions all the time. Emotions are just an intense reaction to an event. It doesn't, I don't even know that it's intense. You can get angry, you can get sad, you can get whatever the emotion is. I'm sorry, angry and sad seem to be the only two I could think of. What's that say about me? We are often governed by our emotions. And a lot of you are like, no, I'm a logical thinker. Are you? Because we sell a lot of things in the Americas. That's pretty much our industry, selling crap. That's what America's about. And when I say that, I'm not trying to be, it's just true. You buy things a lot of times on emotions, like this makes me feel good. And then you get it home and you're like, why did I buy this? Right? I need a new, we think emotionally a lot of times. So when we think emotionally, that sometimes hampers us. Can help us sometimes, but oftentimes it hampers us. Another way we communicate emotions is by talking about our emotions, which is just emotion sharing. We share those with people that are important to us, our close group. But there's also things out there called emotional contagions, and that's also on page 94 of chapter 4. Emotional contagions. This may show up on a final. Emotional contagions for the third time. Well, what's emotional contagion? Everyone in here knows somebody like this, okay? You know someone who, when they walk into a room, they light it up. But I bet you for everyone you know who can walk into a room and light it up, you know two to three that'll walk in the room and dim it. I had a friend years ago. He was very much an emotional contagion, and you never knew if he was positive. Everybody's having a good time. If it was negative, oh my God, you would rather be shoveling dirt. We all know somebody like that. Had to come out of my life. Why? Because he's often just a contagion. These are these people. So you want to try to be positive. You want to uplift people. You don't always be negative. My parent, specifically my mom, often negative. Every one of you, there's probably some of you in here. It's often negative. Now, what's the difference between feelings and emotions? Feelings are short-term emotional reactions to events that first generate, either like, oh, I'm excited, arousal about this concert, or oh, this sad. Gene is leaving work. I've worked with Gene for 20 years. Those kinds of things. Those are feelings. Moods are how you kind of low intensity, like, Mondays, and you turned into Garfield for some odd reason. Or Wednesday, it's bright and sunny and I'm in a good mood. Whatever that is. These all affect your communication. You're in a bad mood, you're in a good mood, you're in an indifferent mood. Same thing about how you react to things with your emotions. What does that bring out in you? There's types of emotions. There are primary emotions that involve unique and consistent behavioral across cultures. Like six primary emotions are surprise, joy, disgust, anger, fear, and sadness. These are our six ones. And every one of you fit in these times. And sometimes we have a blended emotions that may trigger one or two. You may be sad and disgusted. You may be happy, but also a little sad. You're happy for a friend who's leaving, but you're sad because you're going to miss him. Then we have jealousy. Well, we all know what jealousy is, and we all have jealousy from time to time. And then it gets to personality. What's your personality do? How does that affect the way you communicate? So, if you're in community college and you're trying to get a degree, so that's one thing we've talked about. It's like good for you. You're trying to uplift yourself. You're trying to do better. So that means you probably want a better job, a better career, things for your family, things for you, because communication's about getting what you want. And I'm here to help facilitate you to get what you want, which means that you have to think about not only what you want, but what's the most effective way to get there. So your personality, you know, it's pretty big. The three of these five personality traits strongly influence. So there's all kinds of, there appears to be sociable versus outgoing, sad versus kind of happy-go-lucky, agreeable, tendency to negative thoughts. Um, all of these are part of your personality. And it's made up by reflected reprisal, which we talked about in another chapter. Who do you think you are? Who have other people told you you are? So, how does your personality affect? So, I'm a guy who has a lot of personality. If you don't know me, my full-time job is the University of Kentucky. I'm not crazy about teaching this class online. I much prefer to teach it in person. So, I want that interaction. It's important to me. However, I can try to make this as appeasing and to you as possible by doing these videos, which I think help because you get a little bit of a lecture instead of just going through these little click, 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 click study guides. It's the reason why I'm teaching this class slightly different. Some of you are already up kind of like, why did I sign up for? I know, I'm weird. But if you watch these videos, you realize that my personality comes out. Certain things about me come out. Same with you. Your personality can be a positive and a hindrance to you, depending on what you want to do and where you're going with your career. Your gender affects your experiencing of how you handle emotions. We'll get into this a little bit more later, but why? Why do we have such judgments against women who don't smile? Why should we? Why do we not do that for men? I know it's a sexist world out there, ladies. It really is. I'll be the first one to admit it. We need to work on it. So, how do you manage your emotional experience and expression? Well, there's something called emotional intelligence. So, emotional intelligence is the ability to interpret emotions accurately and to use the information to manage emotions. So, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I should do, and this is how I should react instead of letting them govern. You know, I've got to tell you, one of my kid, I have an 8-year-old who's the love of my life, and he said to me maybe a few months ago, you know, Dad, you're great. I was great. I'm a great dad. You need to learn to deal, you need to control your emotions more. And I thought, man, nobody sees you like your kids. And that's me. I've been teaching this stuff for 19 years. So, how do you let your emotions control you? Why do we do that? Manage your emotions as they occur. Sometimes you have to suppress your emotions. That's not a bad thing. Suppressing constantly is a bad thing. Not expressing yourself and let people walk over you, bad thing. But suppressing, so a friend of mine, I was doing my side gig. I do these convention work where I interview people and stuff. And so let's say there's 200 people out there. Someone got mad at me, walks up to me at the end of it. This is a true story. And it's a she, expresses her anger verbally at that moment. Not the best time to do it. Not at the end of during my work. Sometimes you can suppress and talk about it later. Then there's venting. Sometimes you just want to talk about your emotions. Sometimes you just want to manage them and have that special person, that person in your life that you can just vent to. And sometimes they're accepting, like, yeah, I'm sad right now. I'm going to be sad for a minute. I won't be sad forever. Because sometimes we just have to live with being sad. We can prevent our emotions before they occur. There is, encountering, structuring, intentionally avoiding specific topics that you know that will provoke a bad experience with certain people. There is encounter avoidance, staying away from people that kind of bother us. No, that sounds like a negative thing. The one thing I've learned in my I know, I'm 108, 108 years on this earth is that I tend to, if I don't like someone, not talk to them. I'm not trying to be rude about it. I can be. But most of the time, it's just, hey, I will avoid the encounter because I don't want to have it. Why? Because I don't particularly like them. Reappraising emotions while they occur entails actively changing how you think about the emotion while it's happening. Do you know how hard that is to do? Because we're emotional creatures. As much as you fight it and say you're not, some of you are going to like, I'm not, but you are. We have emotions and emotional challenges. One of our biggest emotional challenges is anger. I get angry because I don't have a ton of patience. My patience is here, and I have the least amount of patience when I'm behind something called an automobile. I have a truck, I have a car. Either one of them will make me mad while I'm driving them in this town we call Lexington. Why? Because everyone else is an idiot and I am perfect while driving. Same thing for you all, right? I have anger. How do you manage anger? How do you express your anger? How do you express your anger around loved ones? You can get angry. You can't stop from getting angry. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying, let's try to make sure that yeah. All right. Hi, bye. Well, let me finish my class. That was my son. He wanted to say hi. He wants me to come play with him. So as we finish it up this chapter, You need to make sure that you control your emotions to a certain extent. Then there's passion. You can be passionate about things. Passion isn't a negative word. Passion is, I don't need you helping me. Passion is a good thing. It's just when it takes over your life. You can be passionate about movies. You can be passionate about people, Quentin. You can be passionate about Transformers like my son or Ninja Turtles. Passion's a good thing. Passion means you have interest. So passion is a good thing. When you have passion, you can work really hard on something. You can be passionate about your work. You can be passionate about a relationship. You can be passionate about all these things. But controlling your passion and not letting it away. It's like when you meet that person, it's really red hot, right? That special person, and it dies down over a little while. And you're like, oh my gosh, what was that? Lust or passion, right? Or both. They're kind of similar. Then there's grief. Hard to control grief, and grief is one of those things that we have to go through, right? How do you manage your grief? There's no magic pill that's going to make your grief go away, whether that be from the loss of a loved one, a loss of a situation, a loss of how you live your life. Happened to me a couple years ago. Things. There's no magical pill. Sometimes you just have to experience it and go through it. But acknowledging that that's part of it and having someone who can comfort you and you also comforting others about it. Supportive communication, making sure that the other person is taken care of and making sure you have someone that is in your way in your life who can help you with it. So supportive communication is this. Make sure the person is ready to talk. Now, we're not all ready to talk, especially when it comes to grief at that time. Make sure that you find the right place and the right time. I have a great story about this, about it being at a friend's mother's funeral and telling jokes at the casket. And other people hear the story and think, oh my gosh, that's awful. It's like, well, no, he was doing the jokes too. And he made I can't tell the joke on here in a different one. It's just how we dealt. It's we just how we dealt with grief. All go ask good questions. Don't ask how are you feeling, or maybe ask how you're feeling, but is everything, or this is the thing we say when funerals. Is there anything I can do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You going to go paint their house? You going to maybe mow their yard? What are you going to do? Think about that for a second. Why do we say it? We're trying to be nice. We're trying to be supportive, but do you actually even mean it, or is it word vomit? If there anything I can do, I finally figured it out what I want to say. I'm so sorry for your loss. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It sucks. Yeah. I feel you. See? Number four, legitimize, don't minimize. Do not dismiss people's problems. Remember when we talked about empathy in the last chapter? We have to have empathy for others. We have to think of others. We have to make sure that we care about others, specifically those people that are special to us, those personal, wonderful relationships that we want to care for and nurture and make bigger and better. We need to think of those people. Listen actively. Ask questions. Don't interrupt all the time, but ask, can I clarify? So, did you mean this by this? Make sure that the person knows that you're actually paying attention instead of going, uh-huh, right, right. Oh my God. Oh, you know she'd be crazy. Don't say it. Don't. Be active listening. See this evil thing? Put it away. Pay attention to them. The most generous, most awesome thing you'll ever give is your time. So give your time to people. Offer advice cautiously because you realize that not everybody has the same advice or not everybody wants to hear that. Back to the empathy. Put yourself in their situation and ask, would you like some advice or do you want me to just to listen? Men do this bad. Of course, I've met a couple women who do it too. Just listen. Thank you, son. And show concern and give praise. In my job of academic advising, sometimes every once in a while, somebody it doesn't necessarily have to be a 4.0 student. It could be something else, but it's some people, their success isn't quite as big, but it is big to them. Take a second, look somebody in the eye and say, I'm proud of you. Good job. This has been chapter 4. Thank you so much. Here is your homework for this week. Your homework is this. What I want you to write two paragraphs about Quentin, about which emotion you need the most help with. And how do you think your significant others would tell you you deal with it? And ask them, I think it's this emotion. Is it another emotion? Let me know. This has been Joe. Thank you so much. Email me if you have any questions. This has been chapter 4. By Friday, please do 2 paragraphs about your emotion and what you think you could work better or how you can fix it. Quentin,